So many reactions are there regarding this pantothenic acid. Now, though it is that much essential, but the deficiency of this particular enzyme is very, very rare. You should know what that means. It is abundantly available in your diet and it is easily absorbable, so that there is no problem at all. And but it is mainly involved for the transfer of acetyl groups. That you just remember. Wherever the acetyl group, that is this group, is going to be transferred, acetyl group, this acetyl group is going to be transferred, there it will act as a biochemical, that means it acts as a coenzyme. So the simplest example I would like to tell you here, it is just now the pyruvate is converted into acetyl CoA. You know very well about the pyruvate structure, CH3C double bond O, COO minus, and acetyl CoA is CH3C double bond O, yes, CH3CO, acetyl coenzyme A, COA, CH3C double bond O, okay, SH, COA, SH, COA, acetyl CoA. COA SH means this SH is going to be replaced with the acetyl group COA. So acetyl coenzyme A. Like that, this is going to be the simple example I have quoted here. So many enzymes, so many reactions are there, biochemical reaction, which is having the pantothenic acid is a perfect. The deficiency of this particular vitamin is very rare, and as well as the disorders, deficiency disorders also very, very rare. Then another one is the pyridoxine. Pyridoxine we can call it as pyridoxine. Pyridoxine. Of course, pyridoxine hydrochloride, this is a very simple structure, and here this is the pyridoxine hydrochloride, and here OH group, CH2, CH3 and CH2OH. Right here this is R. That means if R is going to be modified into various forms, for example, if R is going to be CHO group, then we can call it as pyridoxal. If it is going to be CH2OH group, then it is pyridoxal. If it is NH2 group, then we can call it as pyridoxamide. These three forms are available. Of course, among these three forms, the active form is the aldehyde form, and the total coenzyme form of this pyridoxal is pyridoxal phosphate. Okay, pyridoxal phosphate. That means here one of this hydroxy group is going to be get phosphorylated, phosphoric acid. So this is in fact the pyridoxal phosphate active form of your pyridoxine. Okay, pyridoxine vitamin, and here it's going to be catalyzed with so many reactions. I would like to mention one or two reactions here. Mainly in the metabolism of amines, transamination reactions are playing very vital role. Transamination reactions. That means amino group is transferred from the amino acid to the alpha keto acid. Okay, so amino group is transferred from the amino group. So amino group is transferred from the amino acid to the alpha keto acid. The best example is glutamate plus, so that is, it is glutamic acid. Glutamic acid, okay, is combined with oxaloacetic acid, OAA, oxaloacetate. It is converted into alpha ketoglutarate plus aspartic acid. So this is the transamination reactions, and this is very crucial reaction in the case of amino acid metabolism. And not only the transamination, deamination is also. For example, deamination means simply the removal of amino group. Deamination. For example, your alanine, simply the simplest amino acid, that is alanine, CH3COOH NH2. This is alanine. Is converted into, this is nothing but alanine. Alanine is converted into pyruvate, CH3C double bond O COOH. What will happen ultimately? There is a loss of ammonia. There is a loss of ammonia. This is simply deamination reactions. In this case also, your pyridoxine will act as a coenzyme. Now ultimately just remember the active form of this particular pyridoxine vitamin is pyridoxal phosphate, and the deficiency of this pyridoxine may leads to the various neurological and hematological and dermatological factors, and various complications are there. Then this pyridoxine daily recommended allowances are there is just 2 mg per day is essential, 2 mg per day. So there is a neurological complications, the nervous system is going to be get affected. Hematological complications are there, that means your blood picture is going to be get affected, and the dermatological, that means your skin and the protecting organs are going to get affected. So this pyridoxine, and another interesting fact is the deficiency of this particular vitamin is very less, but the persons who are taking the antitubercular therapy, in which one of the main medication is INH, isonicotinic acid hydrozide. See, if the person is taking isonicotinic acid hydrozide, usually what will happen is there is a competition between the pyridoxine and INH because of the structural similarity. That's why your pyridoxine may be get deficient in the case of INH treatment. That's why once the person is taking INH, you should going to be supplemented more quantity of pyridoxine in order to reduce the deficiency of pyridoxine. That's all. So what is that drug? INH. INH is isonicotinic acid hydrozide. Because of the structural similarity between these two, there is a competition for that particular active site. Right. Now, the next important, up to this extent, these vitamins are actively involved in the metabolic reactions, that is energy yielding reactions. Now the rest of the two enzymes which we are going to be discussed is the folic acid. Folic acid, these are hemopoietic vitamins, we can say that is blood forming vitamins. Of course, this folic acid is very essential for pregnant women. Why? Because during the development of fetus, the neuronal tube is going to be developed in the initially, that is in the first trimester itself. So during that time we have to supply the enough quantity of folic acid. If at all it is going to be deficient, then the neural tube cannot be properly formed, and the person may be get deficient of this folic acid, and he may suffering a lot of neurological problems in his future. So that's why these are very essential, and it should be supplied in the first trimester of the pregnant women. And the name itself is arised from folium. Folium means leaf. That means if the person is taking continuously green leafy vegetables, he may not get suffer the deficient of the folic acid. The folic acid, it is a combination of three different components. That is pteridine moiety, pyridine, PABA, para-aminobenzoic acid, plus glutamic acid. So that's why the folic acid is also called as pteroyl glutamic acid. Of course, this is not the active form, and if it is going to be further reduced, that means further oxidized into tetrahydrofolate. Tetrahydrofolate, and tetrahydrofolate is going to be combined with the one methylene group, so that ultimately the active form is N5, N10 methylene DHF. Let us examine the structure of N5 and N10 methylene DHF structure. This is the pteridine moiety. This is the pteridine moiety here. Then CH2NH, then this is the PABA moiety, para-aminobenzoic acid, then C double bond O NH, CH, COOH, CH2, COOH. This is nothing but your glutamic acid moiety, PABA, pteridine moiety. And your N5, N10 methylene DHF is this is going to get hydrogenated tetrahydrofolate, and here this is going to, one methylene group is going to be joined between the, okay, this is 1 2 3 4, and this is 5 6 7, and this is 8, this is 9 and 10. So this is 10th position, this is 5th position. That's why N5 N10 methylene TH. And this particular coenzyme is actively involved in the methylene group transfer reactions. So methyl group transfer reactions, or in other words we can say that one carbon transfer reactions. One carbon transfer reactions. So in one carbon transfer reaction, this is acts as a coenzyme. So the best means the best example is, you know that during the formation of DNA bases, especially the pyrimidine bases, your uracil is converted into thymine. So the difference between the uracil and thymine is only one methyl group. That methyl group is going to be transferred, okay, in the presence of this particular coenzyme. So ultimately whatever happens, in order to form the DNA, thymine base is essential. This thymine base is going to be formed with the help of the folic acid. So many examples are there. For example, I would like to tell you, it is going to be involved in the role of the synthesis of DNA and RNA. Not only that, in the amino acid synthesis and amino acid metabolism and protein metabolism, in all the areas this may be acts as a coenzyme. That is, what is its active form? Not only N5 and N10 methylene THF, it is one of the active form. In other forms are also available. But anyway, you just remember formyl THF is also available. Formyl means just formyl group is there at N5 fifth position. Formyl CHO group. That is also. That means wherever one carbon transfer reactions are there, then it will act as a coenzyme. Okay, and this deficiency leads to the anemia. Anemia, especially what type of anemia? Anemia, macrocytic anemia. Macrocytic anemia. Of course, there is a different types of anemias are there. Microcytic anemia, macrocytic anemia, megaloblastic anemia, pernicious anemia. So many deficiencies are there. Microcytic anemia is mainly due to the deficiency of iron. Macrocytic anemia is due to mainly deficiency of your folic acid. Megaloblastic anemia is mainly deficiency of your cyanocobalamin. And one more anemia is there, pernicious anemia. This is due to the lack of intrinsic factor in the absorption of your cyanocobalamin. So anyway, various anemias are there, but one anemia that is going to be responsible for the deficiency of your folic acid is macrocytic anemia. Now, what is the recommended dietary allowance? It is 200 mg per day is enough. 200 mg per day. So this is, you just remember, the folic acid is mainly obtained from the green leafy vegetables, and it is contains, this is also called as steroyl glutamic acid, and it is, the active form is N5 and N10 methylene THF, and the deficiency may leads to the microcytic anemia. Of course, you just remember, neural tube formation is also getting affected. That's why this vitamin is also prescribed during the early pregnancy period. Now the next one is the cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is also called as B12. B12 is nothing like cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin. B12. Okay, here I would like to tell you B12. It is a complex structure. In fact, the active form is methylcobalamin, and here it is, in majority of the cases, it is associated with folic acid. I would like to tell you one folate trap, how it is going to be associated with this folic acid. But anyway, cyanocobalamin, it is ultimately available from the majority of the cases from the animal source only. That you just remember, animal source only. No vegetable source are available for this particular except milk. So if the vegetarians, pure vegetarian, if the pure vegetarian, they are vegetarians, they are not taking the milk, definitely they can deficient this particular vitamin. Of course, legumes, sprouts are also one and only vitamin source, and of course the vitamin that is required daily is one micron, just 1 micron. 0.5 micron is enough. In fact, this is RDA, recommended dietary allowances, just 1 micron. The problem with this particular vitamin is here acidic stomach is needed. Acidic stomach is needed because under acidic stomach, that means your stomach must be acidic condition. Then only one important intrinsic factor is going to be synthesized in your stomach, intrinsic factor, and this intrinsic factor is essential for the absorption of your vitamin B12. This you just remember. That means under acidic conditions only your intrinsic factor is going to be synthesized. This intrinsic factor can able to help for the absorption of your B12. Suppose if you are having enough B12, if your stomach is not acidic enough, then what will happen? Your intrinsic factor is not going to be synthesized. So if the person is not suffering from achlorohydria means lack of hydrochloric acid in the stomach, then the person may not be having enough quantity of intrinsic factor, and ultimately he is suffering from the vitamin B12 deficiency. If that kind of deficiency is there, that may call it as pernicious anemia. Pernicious anemia. If vitamin B12 itself is going to be, though your intrinsic factor is going to be there and acidic stomach is there, but your B12 is going to be deficient, that may lead to the megaloblastic anemia. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about what is meant by a folate trap. Folate trap, because I told you earlier, cyanocobalamin B12 is associated its function with the folic acid. Now what will happen? I told you earlier, N5 N10 methylene THF is converted into THF. Then what will happen? Your cyanocobalamin should be converted into by capturing this methyl group, methylcobalamin. Then this methylcobalamin is converted back into cobalamin, cyanocobalamin. Okay, methylcobalamin is converted into cyanocobalamin by means of your homocysteines. That is, homocysteine. It's a amino acid is converted into methionine. Of course, methionine is one important amino acid which can be synthesized by this root. If the person is not having enough quantity of cyanocobalamin, what will happen? Your methyl group is going to be trapped in this particular area because it cannot be converted into THF. It is required in order to convert it N5 to N10 methyl DHF, to THF. What it is needed? Cyanocobalamin. If cyanocobalamin is going to be deficient, then ultimately what will happen? Your total methyl group is going to be trapped in the THF only. So if it is deficient, your THF is also going to be not working properly. That is, your methyl group is going to be trapped with this vitamin. Ultimately, whatever happens, see, methyl deficiency is there. Your DNA and RNA is not going to be synthesized, and so many problems are that is associated, and it may lead to the megaloblastic anemia. Okay, so this is if cyanocobalamin is there, then automatically your methylene group is going to be converted into THF, and ultimately it is going to be properly utilized. So cyanocobalamin, the recommended dietary allowance is just 1 microgram, and what is this coenzyme form? Methylcobalamin, and it is also involved in the transfer of one carbon transfer reactions. So this is about the cyanocobalamin, and this is various coenzymes. Here you just realize that we are discussing very brief about these coenzymes, because what we require exactly in the biochemical sense, that only we are discussing here. See, if you want to discuss much elaborately, each vitamin will take near about more than 1 hour time. Okay, so better to read some of the standard textbooks like your so many textbooks are there. This Harper is ultimate book, no doubt about it, and so many other textbooks are available. From that you can able to get the more further information. Thank you very much.